It's Christmas, motherfuckers! This is the time when overprivileged scumbags get everything they want and society's poor learn the meaning of family. Toss aside all that other shit and make some room for one more present because we're reviewing a good movie this time. And it's not by accident. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's still as nasty and fucked up as anything else in the show. But this time, you can actually watch it. Well, as long as your parents, spouses, children, and animals are out of the room. You know, I'll cut this short because you need to get to it. So join myself, Paul, Charlie, and Kyle as we review Filth.
Who the hell writes things like this? Who's this guy? Why is he here? So we're just cutting to here now. Why not? They couldn't even write the animals well. How does that make any sense? How could he be there now like this? No, just take her up. What's this guy? People act. Fuck me. What did I just watch?
But yeah, so Merry Christmas, everyone. I mean, I picked this movie because I saw it once before, and I thought it was actually pretty good. Actually, I really liked it. You guys probably don't have the same sentiment, especially Charlie.
I actually agree. It was actually pretty good.
It was actually pretty good, which caught me off guard when I watch movies for this podcast. I'm ready just for a bowl of shit to be placed in my lap. I'm like, well, let's not enjoy the next hour and a half. And then I think I'm going to start judging by movie length. If I'm actually going to do these from now on. I'd be like, ooh. It's more than an hour and 19 minutes. I don't know if I can commit that much
I think
time.
we all end up going there. It's like, oh boy, this movie was 2 hours. It's like 2 hours too many.
Yeah, I just did a movie review podcast, sneak review with our friend McGonigal, who is also on the show, and also Amanda. And I feel so bad for Amanda because every time she's come on the show, she managed to be on the ones that had the 3.5 hour long movies.
Yeah,
I know one of them was like Muga Moody.
Yeah, Muga Moody, and the other one was Birth of a Nation. Birth of a Nation is 3.5 hours long.
I had the same reaction when she told me.
And then she got, luckily, then she's like, oh, the next one's only 100 minutes. Which one is it? The Baby. But I thought everyone deserved, like, some good holiday cheer, and I think that's going to be my thing from now on. Yeah, so, Kyle, I heard you had Gonorrhea for herpes AIDS. Yeah. How's that
It's all
going?
cleaned up now.
He took an aspirin. He's fine.
But by cleaned up, I said you had a disease. How do you clean up a disease? I cleaned it up with fire.
I snorted some penicillin and my AIDS is gone, so we're good to go.
Oh, he's puking again.
Oh, Jesus, no, don't puke on your doorstep.
We should cut that later. Like, we should be like, Kyle, what did you think of the movie? And then just cut to him, just
It'd be
shitting his pants. And
All right, so I got to ask. I mean, I tried. I like it, and Kyle said that he liked it. Paul, did you like this movie?
I did like it. My only gripe with it was very, very bad lieutenant-y. But I can see there's a lot of differences between the two movies.
And I'll definitely ask you about that later. But Charlie, how'd you like it?
I actually enjoyed it. So, like, I like a good cop movie. Like, I like Lethal Weapon and Die Hard and all that stuff. So when this first came on, I was like, oh, nice, a cop movie. It didn't quite turn out to be that, but it was still pretty good. And I was pretty impressed too that it was like it did have some Christmassy kind of feel. Like it starts up with Winter Wonderland, and I thought that you were picked this movie because you're like, oh, it's a good movie, and that's all I really got out of it. I had no idea that it was actually had some Christmassy.
Yeah, it did take place during Christmas.
Yeah, fa la 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 fuckers. It was a good goddamn movie, and you know what? It's Christmas. There were Christmas lights. There was like Christmas ornaments. There was Christmas blow. You can't get any better than that.
There was Christmas cross-dressing in it.
There was plenty of Christmas.
That took me.
Which, by the way, spoiler alert, that is kind of the ending to the movie.
He loves the panties and the hosiery.
But before we get into like any of the movie, because this is probably one of the first times all of us have agreed that a movie was good. So it's like we kind of have to figure out what the fuck we're going to talk about. It's really easy to shit on a bad movie, but what do we do when we talk about a good movie? But I do have to say, Charlie, your wife was supposed to actually watch this with you. Are you glad that she didn't watch it?
No, she probably would have enjoyed it, actually. So she probably would have actually enjoyed the film, but she specifically said, I don't want to watch a movie if there are rape scenes in it. That makes me uncomfortable. And I was like, oh, no, don't worry about it. Martin said there's nothing, like, sexually weird in this movie, so we should be good to go.
Yeah.
And then...
Yeah, it was at, like, 11:50 a.m. that scene pops up, the one where actually James McAvoy gets raped. And I'm like, oh, shit, I forgot.
By the way, he gets raped by some lady from Game of Thrones.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird sex. It's like, oh shit, there's Moaning Myrtle moaning with fucking Professor Xavier.
Yeah, I mean, so it turns out, so Martin was like, there's no weird sexual stuff, which makes me question Martin, because it was like all weird sexual
all of it
stuff.
was
I
very
never
strange.
said that there was no weird sexual stuff. I said there was no rape, and I was wrong about that.
And I lied.
So you were wrong about everything.
Look, I'm only a human being, and I can only remember so much stuff, and just remembering...
The sexual deviancy
Yeah,
in this movie is hard to remember.
I thought it was wholesome. I remember it being rated PG-13. It's good for the holidays.
Sure is. The kids will love it.
The one of the first scenes is when he goes into, well, it's not one of the first scenes, but it's very early on in the movie. He sees like the young girl, and he's like, "How old are you?" She's like, "I'm 16," and then he makes her blow him. So
No,
like,
that's the thing. She, age of consent is 16. She said she was 16. He picks up her ID and says, under age of consent. So she must have been like 15.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Right. The age of consent is 16 in Scotland.
I think so.
I believe it is.
I mean, it's technically 16 here in the U.S.
There's actually it's
it's
the
age
state
of
thing.
it's
Depends.
by state, and definitely like to be able to be legally allowed to consent, it's 16. It doesn't mean that you still can't be charged with statutory rape if the parents are like, nah, fuck that guy. But if the parents are like, it's okay, and she's 16, it's no, they're not immediately arrested. And
That's just what Martin tells all the 16-year-olds out there.
I have to agree with James McAvoy. Too much teeth is a no bueno.
The carrot peeler, you're not into it?
No, not a fan.
No.
yeah, I think the thing that we have to take away from this is that it's a lot of fucked up stuff, but this in general is a character movie. It's a character study. It's basically this guy who has a goal, and rather than have a plot that goes out, you're seeing how he reacts to what's happening, to his own actions, and it builds up and eventually crashes down all around him. And actually, one thing I do got to ask you, Kyle, I give you movies sometimes, and I know you've been on the show a few times, and there are a few times you're like, dude, that movie came to my house, and my parents saw it, and we had a long discussion. They didn't happen to walk in on you during this one, did they?
No. I think they heard it, though. They heard it. Thumbs on it.
That's just as bad.
I mean, were there any points where you were, like, kind of into what you were watching, but you had to, like, look at the door to just be like, I hope they don't fucking hear this?
I think I was pretty good the whole time,
What was one point in the movie where you were definitely like just uncomfortable? Because this movie goes out of its way to make you feel uncomfortable.
I wasn't.
Good question. I was fine with all of it. Nothing got me. I've seen probably worse than this.
Yeah,
Actually, I
that's
have,
true.
because I've been on this show before.
Did you wake up with like Bibles outside your bedroom door or anything like that? Like,
No.
That boy ain't right.
yeah.
Until you said that last thing, I was wondering what kind of life you live where it's like, I don't know, I call up strangers and just talk to them while jacking off. It's a perfectly natural part of my
boy.
daily. And then I realized, oh wait, we also saw in the movie where a guy cut off someone else's a girl's head and then made it blow him. So,
Yeah.
Blood-sucking freaks.
Okay.
yep. Were you on that one, Kyle? I forget which ones you were
Yeah,
on.
that's the one.
That's the one. That's the one.
My brain has calluses because of all the things you've subjected me to, Martin.
I mean, so this one it did have a lot of weird stuff, but like it all played well. I thought like it all like I don't know. It all seemed to be it got you caught up in this feeling of like you felt like him. Everything was just so fucking crazy, and the things that he was doing were just seemed normal. You know what I mean? Like it grossed you out, and made you feel uncomfortable, but like it's still. You know what I'm saying? Like it still made sense in the movie.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know?
I like how they built it up where at first everything is really terrible and you think he's terrible, but you see it in kind of his light. And then while he's succeeding, but because he is who he is, it still starts to fail. That way he's like this almost tragic anti-hero. I'm not condoning his behavior at all because
he was
Jesus
such an
Christ.
asshole, but
He
it was
was
And
a fucking
I don't think
asshole.
I could do that.
He was
that
a goddamn motherfucker.
yeah, I can't do that many drugs, but there is something about being drawn into a story, even when you don't like the person, that I really, really appreciate and can really get behind. But Paul, what were you gonna say?
The hallucinations and stuff was kind of confusing me because it didn't really establish at first that he was. Spoiler alert: you find out he's schizophrenic, more than likely. When did you find out? Because Jen, my girlfriend, pointed out that like you see the camera pan at one part, and it shows he's taking lithium, something. Lithium is apparently an anti-schizophrenic drug.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
antipsychotic.
well, I mean, he goes to the psychiatrist, and the doctor's like,
And that's that doctor that he's also hallucinating about.
Yeah?
Too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah. So that makes a little bit more sense.
But at the same time, it's around that point where everything starts to fall into place. So even if you don't notice the lithium,
obviously fall apart for him.
yeah, the lithium bottles were a cool side thing that I didn't even notice 2 times around. It wasn't until Jen pointed it out where I was like, oh, actually that's cool. But that's also when he's actually seeing things and he's verbally stating, I have a problem. And there's something I picked up the first time around, and I pointed up to you when we finished the movie. There's a point where he has a moment of clarity, which is something schizophrenics have.
I think there's a bunch of points throughout the movie where that's starting to happen.
Although this one point in particular, because he's very much thinking everyone's against him. He's seeing all these things, and he's angry as hell. And then for a moment, he just breaks down and realizes, oh my God, I have a problem. There's something wrong with me. And he's just kind of pouring his heart out to this woman who he's basically trying to... I mean, the whole movie is about him trying to take down his coworker so that he can get a promotion. And so he's been fucking blasting her the whole time with just every foul thing you could call her. And then he's actually like pouring out his heart. But then that moment of clarity goes away immediately, and you can see it because he's saying to himself, get a grip, and that's his mental condition taking over again. And I don't know if that was deliberate, but holy shit, that's amazing because, you know, Melissa worked with people like this before, and this is how she would describe them to me.
The my favorite part is when they did the copy machine drinking game.
Oh my God,
and then,
that was so
and then
fucked up.
And then the brat's like, fuck me with that horse cock. And then he goes and she goes, what?
Oh my God, that was that moment. It's those little moments that really make the movie what it is.
So yeah, you have these great moments where the schizophrenics have, and you have that moment of clarity where you're like, wow, that is fucking
that's
great.
really amazing acting. He's really convincing me.
Fuck me with that horse cock. What? No.
It has some perfect comedy, that's for sure.
Hey Kyle, did you have a moment while watch it where you're like just thought it was brilliant, like any of those moments?
Yeah, Nazi cop.
Oh yeah, that's
where was the where you're saying in the Third Reich you'd all be made into handbags. That.
What was happening during that scene? I can recall it because the guy just starts goose stepping.
He was introducing him.
It was like, yeah. I mean, was that part of his schizophrenia? Like he's introducing all the characters.
Oh yeah, that's
that's actually that's the part where I was like, oh my God, I think I love this, because the first time I saw it, I was on the elliptical at the gym, and I was just watching the first 5 minutes, and then it goes to his buddy there, the cop, the young cop, and he's like. He's like a right mate, whatever. And then the guy just takes this big, and he's like, he has a massive drug habit. He takes like this fistful of cocaine, puts it in his face, and goes, I love cocaine! I was like, all right, I'm on board.
Yeah, there was a bit of Scarface in this movie, wasn't there?
Just a cartoonish pile of cocaine.
All right, guys, you want to do some reviews?
Love it.
Let's do some reviews. What do we got?
All right, so the first one comes from Art of Insanity. And he says, it takes boundaries and tells them to fuck off. There are no restrictions with this film. There's brutality, sexism, racism, oppression, homophobia. It is polluted with prejudice, but I thought it was a great film. Am I a part of those worldly problems? And my question would be, can you be a part of a problem by just enjoying it through the art form?
What's this guy's name?
Art of Insanity.
Art of Insanity. Not everything's about you, motherfucker.
No. He's. I think he's saying it. Jesus Christ, that was my question to you, as like a devil's advocate. That wasn't you. Listen, I didn't get to the bad ones yet. This is somebody who's actually just saying it's terrible, but as jokingly, am I a part of the problems? I'm like, oh, you know what? That's a good discussion point. And the first thing you do is jump down the fucker's throat, just like, listen, you cocksucker. All right, you know what you need? You need that pig cock at the end of the movie down your throat. All right, by enjoying art, by enjoying art, are you a part of a problem?
No.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like there's a it's like it's kind of like, should you feel bad watching a movie where Hitler kills Jews?
Just because we loved Birth of a Nation doesn't mean that we're racist, right?
You see, that's kind of what I'm saying. I think if you do love Birth of a Nation and you're not saying things like camera shot, even if you are, I think you're just hiding the fact that maybe you don't like black people.
I mean, you can enjoy an art form like that's talking about this type of subject matter and still not enjoy the actual real life issues that it's talking about. Because that's the thing. It's not real. If anything, it's making you aware of these weird things.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things where, like with the child, if you show them all of these bad things, like there's a lot of context that goes with it. If you show them a lot of bad material and then you say this is bad, they're not going to be like, "Fuck you, mom and dad. I'm going to smoke and drink till the day I die." It's like maybe they're like, "Oh, this is bad." Like they're not portraying this guy as a hero. If they portrayed this guy as a hero, what would you think about this movie?
I would definitely be in the fuck this movie category.
Yeah, the movie would be called The Comedy. Once every episode. I gotta get in once every episode.
Fuck that movie,
Yeah.
by the way. Fuck the comedy.
Till the end of time, Jesus. So, Kyle, have you ever been influenced by the art that you enjoyed? Do you feel like doing a mountain of cocaine and smoking and drinking?
We'll take that as a yes, Kyle.
I think I did learn to swear from South Park, so
Ooh.
maybe, I don't know.
That's where I learned some of my really creative swearing.
And I think that's what the whole movie was about. That's actually... It's like, did we make you swear? Oh, I'm sorry. Be better parents. All right, so I've got actually a thread here. So this is a couple of messages. So here's what they said. I'm Scottish and would love this work, but Irvine Welsh, who's the author, is a vastly overrated in my view. Wow, that was a typo. And this movie can't rise above the source material. Please don't flame me, this is just my personal opinion. Followed by, couldn't agree more, and I'm normally quite partial to morally bankrupt and deprived films. This should have been left as a one-off drama on Channel 4 or BBC 3. They're British, so they can go fuck themselves. Followed by, I agree, I really wanted to like it, but I kept thinking that this belonged on television, which was then followed by, the four of you should start a barbershop quartet and sing songs about strawberries. Opinions are just onions with pie in them.
What the fuck?
So that's where IMDb threads go. That's just letting you know the rabbit hole I go down.
Why do you even go to IMDb, man? Like it's
because I find shit like this and it's funny.
I guess
that's
it's
kind of
cool.
funny.
But like, if you look at the top 100 on IMDb, you know what's like? I think number 100 is
Birth of a Nation.
No, I think that's number 1. But I think that I think the number 100 is The Help. I think that's like.
You know,
IMDb considers
you
that
give-
movie to be one of the greatest of all time.
Well, they're wrong.
Well, if you have 100 to choose from and you forget things past last year, yeah, you know what? It's like, I remember The Help from, what was it, 2009, 2010, 2011?
Yeah, I guess, but it's all based off of user ratings, right? And this is kind of goes back to what you were just talking about, the art thing, and the art is this responsible for racism or something like that? I mean, you can't help if uneducated people watch this shit and then take it and be like, oh, I should be racist too, because the fact is that there probably already are racist. Like, I don't think you're gonna, like a racist person's gonna be like, well, I don't think an open-minded person's gonna sit down and watch this movie and then walk away from it going, well, yeah, I hate black people now, and we should,
if anything, this movie was showing that these types of people were fucking scum.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I think the context plays a large part.
And I got to comment on that. People probably think that he's overrated because of his style. That was a very, very, very stylistic of this guy.
Well,
Yeah.
he was talking about the book, right? The book was overrated. The author?
No, he loved the author, and I think he liked the book, but he thought the movie couldn't rise above those. I mean, I haven't read the book, so I don't know what nuances were left out. But the person before this thought that it could, or the first person in this thread thought that it couldn't rise above the source material. So they think that the movie tried too hard and didn't make it.
This is just a bunch of fucking hipsters on this goddamn thing having to say something shitty about the movie that they enjoy, but they're like, oh, this one little thing is in the back of my head and it's gonna ruin this whole movie.
Paul, this guy asked you not to flame him. It's just his personal opinion.
He can go.
And the other guy thinks that opinions are just onions with pie in them.
Yeah, that's true. We
They are.
probably shouldn't flay this guy, guys. He did ask for it.
So
Did you say please?
So the question I actually was going to ask you guys, based off this thread, was, would this be better as a shorter film? And what about it being on TV?
Absolutely not. Maybe.
This wouldn't work on TV.
Not even on BBC Three, where maybe they can say cunt?
Well, I think there's a lot of stuff they might not be able to even show on BBC. But sure, they can show. They can probably not show some of the worst stuff that he does in this.
What about HBO? Like
Definitely HBO.
HBO is just an HBO movie is just.
There's other they have
movie.
cable out out there. I mean, there's other channels that can show this explicit stuff, but I think this was perfect. I think like it was an hour and a half. Like the actual running time of the movie was an hour and a half. It was an hour 35, 5 minutes of
98 minutes, hour 38.
Yeah, listen, but that was a lot of credits. There was like the last 5 minutes were credits. Anyway, and I think the setting of a feature-length film was much more appropriate because you can show and maybe have a longer drawn-out sympathy for the character, I guess.
So you wouldn't cut anything out? You didn't think that there was anything superfluous or just anything redundant?
Before the movie stopped, I would say the hallucinations were a little redundant, but they actually had a point at the end to actually show that he was schizophrenic and seeing things and hearing things.
I liked the pace. I thought the pace was spot on. Like
Absolutely.
It felt like it was moving at the right speed. And
Yeah.
like I said before, it gets you in this feeling of you're almost in his head.
Yeah, that's one thing I didn't notice the first time I saw it. I thought that maybe it was because the first time I saw it was a little broken up, but I thought that things were going a little slowly. And then when I saw it again, it was one of those moments where I'm like, whoa, this is happening now? I thought that didn't happen for another 10 to 15 minutes. Things actually do happen at a pretty decent clip, which is probably why I liked it the first time. I just didn't realize it because I was going from like fucking gym, seeing 10 minutes, it's like on my lunch break, and then like seeing the rest of it at home. Hey, Kyle, is there anything that you would have cut out, or do you think it was perfect? Like Paul loved this. Paul thinks,
Yeah, it was all good. I mean, everything was in there. You know, it got its point across, and there you go.
You sympathize with the asshole.
do you think anything was missing?
Nope, I think there was enough tits and drugs.
Yeah, no one except for the last scene. Nobody did anything except for doggy style, which good for them. They must have good quads, but shit.
Oh no, there was that one chick in the beginning. What was it? When he was being strangled.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
Cut off the gas.
Turn the gas off.
Turn the gas off. That's what it is.
Oh, holy shit! I just didn't realize what they were talking about until this very
I know,
second.
right? Even actually when we were, I only realized it when we were watching it earlier too. It's like, oh, gas, oxygen's gas. Oh, I get it.
So for the people who are like me, when it says cut off the gas, it's not some weird Scottish expression. He's literally telling her to choke him because he's cutting off the gas.
One thing I do have to say about this movie is I did have to turn on the subtitles.
Oh, yeah. It was kind of hard to understand.
How the fuck? I mean, I can understand Scottish accents. It's just I don't understand how people can't.
They were talking
You can
kind of fast.
They were. I got
Not-
that. But
I wish I could
Not
do
so
a good
much.
Scottish accent.
you
to
just
show
need to like turn the volume up. That's all I need to do.
I turned the volume up and I was like, you know what, fuck this. Like I'm gonna just turn the subtitles on because I couldn't understand them for majority of the time. I could understand McAvoy, and then like some of the other people, but like the very Scottish people I had a tough time with.
So this guy Sam Lin, he started this review, and then it led to a big flame war as well, which I didn't put down because Jesus Christ, we only have so much time in our show. He said, deep in the storyline was an utterly captivating yet tragic story of a man losing his mind to drugs, mental illness, and grief. In many ways, it was this that made the film great, and all the more shocking, but brilliant at the same time. And this is what we've been talking about. This is what I saw in it, and it's like, am I right about pulling these things out? Am I wrong? Is there a right and wrong? And then immediately there was a big flame war where people shut it off after, and this happened a lot, 18 minutes,
Idiot.
but still trashed the movie. I mean, many people thought that that this guy's opinion was invalid because of it. I mean, is anyone right here? I mean, can you shut off a movie after 18 minutes and then just say this is what the rest of it is? I mean, the problem with this is that, yes, in some view, it's like, dude, you only saw 18 minutes. How do you know what's going to happen?
I think it depends on what movie. To be honest.
It definitely depends on the film.
Yeah, so it's
With
like
this one, I would disagree. This one, 18 minutes in, you didn't get pulled in. That is just your own problem.
But yeah, there's 18 minutes. Like, you can't judge a book by its cover because it might change. The only problem is sometimes it doesn't, and you should. Like, I think maybe the people who might be offended by stuff like that are the people who should hold off and just maybe see some reviews about, like, maybe what's going on, see if things might progress throughout. The people who just sit down is like, it's movie time, I sit down, oh my god, that's a butt, and then shut it off. That's
well, do you think that
those
why they
people-
turned it off?
I think they saw like the first 18 minutes.
I kind of want to know what 18 minutes in was.
Yeah, there's a lot of shit that goes. Like he's already being strangled. I mean, he's introduced people to piles of coke. He's backstabbing everyone. There was a murder.
Nazi cop.
Nazi cop.
Was it because they cried when the Japanese kid got killed? I mean,
I don't think so, but it's a lot to handle. But the thing is, even though it's a dense subject and it's hard to deal with, the movie does it. You just have to stick with it. And if you don't know that ahead of time, but you're offended by these things, it's something that you need to know. On the opposite side of that, maybe when a movie is called Filth, you should just know what you're getting yourself into.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Like, if you're sensitive and you're like, I get offended about everything, and then you're like, God, what's some PC bullshit I can put on? Oh, Filth, perfect. Let's watch this.
This is rated PG, right? Oh, it's
Ooh.
R.
Oh, by the way,
maybe it'll stop.
in the ratings, they now, I mean, ever since, the early 2000s, they tell you what's in it. So it's like, oh, what's this, Filth? Rated R? Well, I've seen rated R movies. I mean, I enjoyed Schindler's List. I don't know, these... I think that sometimes it's acceptable to, like... You know what? No, I'm going to backtrack on that. It's not acceptable to shut off a movie 18 minutes in, because if you sat down and you don't know what you're getting yourself into, then maybe you should see it to the end, because what you think may happen might not be what's there. And if you sit down knowing what's going to happen and knowing you're not going to like it, well, then fuck you.
It's from the UK. I love Downton Abbey. This will be perfect.
Oh, and there's people from Downton Abbey in this movie.
Yeah, wonder. Oh, they're fucking each other. I'm gonna turn this off.
By the way, Anna from Downton Abbey's in this movie.
Never actually watched that show.
Your wife will like it.
Yeah.
You'll probably like it because you're watching it with your wife.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Kyle, I need you to stop laughing because you're going to die.
No, keep laughing.
I'm
You're good.
sorry.
Yeah, how dare you be
This movie-
happy?
Kyle, your AIDS
Really
is ruining the
classy
show.
movie.
Say that again.
This was really it was a really classy movie and thoroughly
It really was.
Really was.
Very subtle.
Actually, in a way, there was subtlety. They was subtle about his mental illness.
Yeah, the subtext was amazingly subtle. So subtle that they had to just pile it on with as much tits and blow as you could possibly.
That is not. That's like. I think that might be.
You know, there was more penis in this movie than there were tits.
I don't know about that, but
Really?
There's a whole string of them all on a
yeah,
line.
That's only one scene though.
he's
Um,
right.
You know,
There are multiple
Lisa.
Lysa Aaron tits.
I don't know,
Not
John.
when you watch that scene 7 times.
I don't know. McAvoy got up and he like. I thought it was just an ass shot the first time I saw it because I saw it on my cell phone. When I saw it on a fucking 50-inch TV, I was like, oh damn, good for you, McAvoy. Good for you. That's that hang pretty low.
Fuck you with that horse cock. Yeah.
He did not need enlarge. All right, you guys want to get to the 1-star reviews?
Yeah.
Star reviews.
Okay, so this one's from Better Rock. This movie sucked. I considered turning it off about 10 times, but kept watching. Asshole.
Hey,
If
he's smart though.
At
If you
least
can
he committed.
empathize with the main character, you need serious help. I think that was the point of the movie. I was hoping it would be action-packed and have some twists.
Jesus, it had twists, alright.
It had some twists, but
Was
it was
it-
all bad and just left me feeling sick to my stomach
Was
and
he
wishing I had
expecting an
watched something like...
action movie?
No!
I
Action-packed.
He's not done yet. I don't think he also added a period yet. He left me sick to my stomach and wishing I had watched something like The Big Lebowski for the 500th time on TV instead. On TV!
Idiot.
I don't think this man has seen the real Big Lebowski.
My favorite part about The Big Lebowski is the commercials. I like that a guy with the username Bedrock has archaic views on things.
I'm sorry, it's Beta Rock. All right, and so he finishes off by saying, because there's still another sentence here, at least I would have refreshed my memory on some good quotes. This movie is trash and definitely makes me wonder how the hell someone paid to have it made and what the hell is going through James McAvoy's head when he agreed to do this role. It must have been for the $.
Yeah, I'm
Or
sure this was a
maybe
fucking...
Yeah,
he's
he-
an
he-
actor. He's a fucking actor. Who cares
He
about
act-
what he's doing?
Yeah.
He acted the shit out of this fucking movie.
He was so
Seriously.
convincing. Look, as an actor, there was a lot of material to work with. Even if you don't like the subject matter, holy shit, that must have been a hard role.
So according to this person's logic, whoever plays Hitler loves Hitler.
Or just wanted the money. Whatever.
Or just wanted the money.
But that's the thing I don't understand. Is like everything that this person said. Like maybe I'm taking it way too literally, but it's like I would rather watch The Big Lebowski. It's like okay, that's an R-rated comedy, but that also has a girl that says like I'll suck your cock for $1,000, which is pretty fucking intense. Like it just comes out of nowhere. But meanwhile, then he goes like on TV. It's like, you know what? Sometimes you have to think, especially after talking to Melissa for so long. Some people actually do just see these things on TV, and it makes a huge difference. She saw Election on TV for years and thought it was this lighthearted comedy. I showed her the R-rated version, and she was like, "What the fuck is this?"
That's one with Zach Galifianakis and
No, election. No, that's
No, it's with the guy who got in that
Matthew
car accident and
Broderick.
killed someone.
Matthew Broderick and Reese Witherspoon.
Broderick killed someone.
Yeah,
He
did.
he got off with a $150 fine.
Good for him. Good for him. Celebrities should be able to do crimes. I think get away with it.
Sure.
But yeah, I've seen The Big Lebowski on TV, and the whole there's a whole section cut out, and not just for time, but because there's way too much swearing and just fucked up shit that goes on. So like it goes right from where he leaves that porn star producer's office and goes like right to when he's confronting Lebowski, and it's like there's like 30 minutes of the movie you just kind of skipped over. So it makes me think that the people like this really are sheltered and think they're watching stuff that is, dense, and really the only person that's dense is them.
But that's not even a fair comparison. That's been like, yeah, I didn't like this movie. I'd rather watch Star Wars. You're like, yeah, Star Wars is a great movie, and I'd like to watch Star Wars as well. But I mean, it doesn't. I'd rather watch Pulp Fiction. I'd rather watch this, that, you know what I mean? Like it's just
yeah. I mean, sometimes you just have to watch a movie, not just to set your bar, because sometimes you should get to the end of a movie and be like, wow, that was bad. I want to avoid that, and now I know what to look for in further movies. If it's just like, I'm going to watch Star Wars. Yay, Star Wars. Yay, Pulp Fiction. Oh, no, it's Plan 9. Shut off. Yay, I like... Those are the people...
not familiar.
Yeah, those are the people who watch Savannah and then go, this has all the things I like in a movie. Yay, it's good. It's like, no, it's fucking terrible. No, it's good. Thank you. I love you.
Do you think this was because this was obviously it was filmed in Scotland? I don't know if is it a Scottish film, British film.
It's a Scottish film.
It's a Scottish film. So I mean, a lot of like the UK stuff that comes over here is like period pieces and things like that. I mean, do you think it's I don't know. You usually don't see when they come over. It's usually not a movie like this. Do you think that some people had a problem with too, or do you?
There are some things that are lost in translation, but what I've noticed is that when a British film comes over, we're more likely to accept it because it's like, oh, maybe it's just different over there. Even if it's not, we think it is. I mean, I think I've seen enough where I can get past that bias to a degree. But even in here, there's still some things where it's like, I don't understand what that means, so I'm going to assume that it's, not as bad as I think. It's like, he just called her a cunt, but called her it with a hugely different vernacular.
I don't think cunt was used in a friendly way in this movie at all.
No, I'm just saying, like, a different word was used, and it's like, and I thought it was like, he's just, coming up with silly things. It's like, no, in their country, that is worse than, dropping a C-bomb on a woman.
Did the Nazi cop kill himself in this movie?
I don't think he killed himself. She said that he was in the hospital.
Yeah, I think it was an attempted suicide.
So attempted suicide.
Yeah.
So he was basically all the bad shit that was going on that they were looking into. He was behind all of it. I mean, he was the blonde witness. He was the fucking, he was making those phone calls. He was fucking
he had
that guy's wife.
Yeah, he had a break from reality, which is another surefire sign of a lot of schizophrenics. So that's why he was able to have this like alter ego that he knew about but didn't know about.
It was definitely they masked everything with he's a heavy drug user. He's a corrupt cop. He's trying to get ahead.
And I find that brilliant, the fact that it's not just that they're trying to put this out there saying that this is what could happen. They're masking the plot with character elements so you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
That's an insane level of complexity because, usually you drop hints throughout the movie, but it seems perfectly normal. We're like, no, all this is perfectly fine because he's an asshole. And then you're like, or maybe there's underlying things.
Yes. The hallucination started early. That was where it was like, okay, where the fuck is this going? Is this more than just some weird art house? Is this just an art house film or something? But no, it was. There were red herrings everywhere in this movie, and a little sprinkling of the truth.
All right, are you guys ready for the massive 1-star review that
Oh my God.
I believe represents everyone who gave this movie a 1-star review.
Sure.
Also by Bedrock.
This is by Deborah Marie,
Oh, it's abroad.
and she says, after
Jane.
becoming Jane and James McAvoy for the first time in such a good movie, I tried to watch the trailer. They spelled trailer wrong.
How'd you spell it?
Trailor.
That's not how you spell trailer.
For this one.
Fucking idiot.
I don't know who Jane McAvoy is.
Jane?
It was so disgusting spelled wrong with a C. Vulgar, crude, rude, cheap. Cheap was spelled wrong. Cheap was spelled Cheep.
What a fucking idiot.
Perverse and obnoxious. I was shocked and would not watch more than 10 seconds of it. We're not talking about the movie. We're talking about the trailer. I cannot...
Was it like the Red Band trailer, maybe?
I cannot believe such a great actor would play such a filthy lowlife. By the way, she's used the word filth twice now. I was so disappointed and would not watch this movie if they paid me $1 million to do so. I like to point out that this woman went on Amazon, gave a 1-star review for a trailer to a movie that she didn't see.
To take the time to do that is to watch a trailer and be like, ooh, this isn't for me. But then to go, oh, this is bad. I'm going to misspell everything on a review on Amazon.
Not only shouldn't this not be for me, it shouldn't be for anybody.
I can't believe James McAvoy, which has done great things like Wanted and the X-Men movies, would lower himself down to do such filth.
It's called Range Lady.
That would have been a better review. I think,
honestly,
than
reading-
any review.
I've already made the statement. It's been called filth. I don't know what else to say. It's called filth. What were you expecting?
It's gross, yeah. It's
Yeah,
just
I
a
don't-
gross fucking human being. And a sad human being.
Maybe if they called this movie Drugs and Tits, people wouldn't fucking... they would know what they're getting into.
Yeah.
I mean, how...
Oh, I'm sorry. Is filth too subtle for you people? Idiots.
My favorite movie is Drugs and Tits.
But then you have to go up and be like, no, seriously, you gotta see Drugs and Tits. There's nuance to the character.
It's a lot of complexity in the plot of Drugs and Tits.
Listen, it's called Drugs and Tits, but it's not really what it's about, guys.
You don't understand. Deborah Monroe, or whatever the fuck her name is. It's only called that because of her.
It's Aurora Monroe.
Aurora Monroe.
All right, so I'm just gonna shotgun my way through. All right, so I'm just gonna shotgun my way through these last 1-star reviews. All right, so if you have any morals left, don't bother with this one. No matter what other commentators say, this movie is trash, garbage, and yes, filth. Although this film is a fine example of how low Hollywood will go. This is not a Hollywood film.
Not Hollywood.
Yeah. The was this movie maybe called? Was it called like Ben-Hur and then like there's a colon filth? Like maybe that's where the confusion lies.
That's probably where they were thinking.
First of all, Charlton Heston's not even in this one.
All right, so Ashley Perry says, there were several times when this movie timed out and had to be restarted. This is on the DVD reviews.
DVDs don't time out.
Yeah, so I don't know why you want to start it for whatever.
Is she giving a 1-star for her internet connection?
And then from Spencer we have, it is what it says. Good acting, just way too much filth. My fault should have been to take this title at what it meant. And thank you, Spencer. You have hit the nail on the head of everything we're going to say. You still didn't need to be the asshole who went on and gave it a 1-star review.
I'm gonna agree with him with everything with that though, because like if he didn't, he probably shouldn't have given it a 1-star. I'd say 2 stars.
Yeah,
if
fuck
he didn't like that.
Spencer.
But that's the type of review you're supposed to give if you don't like this type of movie. He says it's called filth. It's exactly as it delivers. The acting's really good. That's fair. But he's like, it's just not for me. You know. That I like you, Spencer. Though you probably should have just given it a 2-star.
It's like if we logged on and was like, yeah, I watched Schindler's List, but I found it a bit anti-Semitic. So
acting was great.
great. A bit anti-Semitic though. Not for me. 1 star.
Yeah, no, that's you don't do that for these types of movies. Like it's a 2 if you don't like the content, but there's stuff about it that you like. That's a 2-star review out of like what 5? Is it 2 out of 5?
Yeah, 5.
Yeah, that's
I watched
yeah.
12 Years a Slave. Great acting, and it was kind of funny, but
What's
I found
a
it a bit racist.
A lot of racism.
Yeah.
All right, guys, let's get to our final thoughts, and I have to phrase this question very carefully. Can you recommend this to someone else? Kyle.
If you're not a pussy and your sensibilities aren't just like, just don't be a pussy, and you can watch this. Okay.
I think that was the tagline for the movie, wasn't it?
Don't be a pussy and watch this.
I read the tagline, I saw the movie title, I saw the trailer, and said no, 1 star.
Have some balls, okay? There's way worse shit than this, believe it or not.
Oh yeah.
All right, Paul, what about you?
I wouldn't recommend it to Grandma, obviously. But
Well, no,
I mean,
she's
well,
dead.
Some. This is the let's say I'm the typical person. I wouldn't recommend it to my grandma. Yes, our grandmothers are dead. Regardless of that, I wouldn't recommend it to them. Although there are some grandmas in this world that are really fucking cool and that would totally enjoy this movie. Like, if you know someone who's a sensitive cunt, don't fucking recommend the movie to them. If it's to a friend that can take a fucking tit or a fucking a spittle flying at the glass,
Lots of dick. Lots of dick.
Or lots of dick, sure. But like, that's the person you recommend this type of movie to. Absolutely, I'd recommend it to a person who could take it.
All right, Charlie?
I'd recommend it to everybody. Grandma, my mother, everybody. I liked it.
But your grandparents,
Dude, I wanna be-
the grandparents I was talking about. Those
Yeah.
are the cool ones.
Dude, I want you to go to your mother and recommend this movie. I want to see her face after she watches the first 18 minutes and just decide, Charlie, I had to go on and give this a 1-star review. This is...
No, she's
I made a few spelling errors. Can you review this?
She's too nice to give. She'd give it like a 3-star review. She's like, did not enjoy 3 stars. She's too polite. But the I like. I'd recommend it to everybody. And then if like people were like, oh, that was a bit disturbing, I'd be like, oh, cool. Now we don't need to be friends anymore.
Listen. That movie was fucking disturbing. But it was
See what I mean?
but
Now
it
I'm
was
not gonna be
brilliant.
friends with Paul anymore. So it all
Yeah,
works
man, it
out.
was so brilliant. Brilliant's a strong word. It was very, very good.
It was very good.
All right, guys. It's that time again to pick the movie for the next episode, and I have a brand new list for all of next year.
My God.
It's 4 stars.
Thank you, Charlie.
And we got a special guest coming on next time too.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Well, we should leave that as a surprise.
So,
Leave it as a surprise. Tune in next time to hear who the special guest is.
yeah, you'll never guess it was Charlie's wife.
Special guest, mystery.
All right.
Mrs.
So here are the 3 movies that you get to pick from. The first one is called A Force of One, which is about a karate master who hunts down a serial killer.
Sick.
The second one is called Gore. It's about a loser who isn't Frodo, who slips on a ring and has awesome things happen. And the third one is called True Legend. A conspiracy strips a man of everything he has and something, something, something. It's a Yuan Wu Ping Kung Fu film. All right, so you know what? Special guest Kyle. You're not going to be on the next episode, so you lucked out there. But next year, remember, anything that you vote now is something that means that a worse movie might take its place later. So what would you vote for? A Force of One, Gore, or True Legend?
I think I'm gonna go with the second one. That seems pretty horrible, I guess.
We got
Sounds
one
especially
for
terrible.
Gore.
One for Gore. All right, I'm going to go over to Paul. Paul, you didn't sound too happy with Gore. It's going to happen, but
So-
do you want it to happen next month?
The only thing that I'm iffy about with gore is that gore is that weird fetish where people get off to stories of them being eaten alive by animals or something.
Yeah, it's not about that.
Phew.
It's about a guy who slips on a ring and goes to a fucking fantasy world.
I've seen enough of Bilbo Baggins. What was the plot of the first one again?
A karate master hunts down a serial killer.
And the third one?
Conspiracy strips a man of everything and something, something, something kung fu film.
I'm gonna have to go with that first one.
A Force of One. All right, Charlie.
See, I made my decision prior to anyone else voting, and what's the third one called?
True Legend.
True Legend. That's the one I'm gonna go with.
All right, so we get a tie. That means I'm the tiebreaker. So basically, this whole thing is kind of for naught because I could have just said, "Hey, guess what we're doing?"
Yeah, sure.
All right, so what
Who
do
are you
I
gonna
want?
side with? You gonna side with Kyle, Paul, or Charlie?
You know what? I have to go with my best friend of all time. I have to go with the Force of One because I just want to know what happens.
Which one's the Force of One again?
I actually don't remember who picked it, so I just blatantly said.
Is that the one where people jerk off to people getting eaten alive?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
getting
yep,
eaten
yep.
alive by animals?
Absolutely. Wait, Kyle, did you say a Force of One?
No,
No, I said gore.
Oh, fuck you. Paul, it was you, right?
No, it was Charlie.
Oh, Charlie.
No, I said True Legend.
Oh, I thought True Legend was the last one. Yeah, so it was Force One. Are we best friends?
I don't know. I just really wanted to do it, so I was hoping it'd be Kyle, so both of you would go, oh, but it turned out to be you.
No, it was me.
All right, fuck you.
What's the what
you
is
too,
the
buddy.
give us the synopsis of that one again?
That's the one where a karate master hunts down a serial killer.
That seems like a pretty basic synopsis.
Yeah, believe me, I boiled it down.
4 hours long.
I'm going to use that quote that you say, Charlie. That sounds like a big bowl of vanilla ice cream.
Yeah.
I should mention that the original description was like 2 run-on sentences long.
Jesus.
And this was the tame version. It actually is fucking insane.
And it was written by a user named Bedrock.
All right, guys, I think that does it for now. Merry Christmas. Go fuck yourself and get the fuck out of my house.
That's it for now. Catch more episodes on iTunes, Stitcher, and YouTube. Visit our Facebook page where we try to update everyone on all the non-boring shit we're up to. If you have any comments, questions, recommendations, or just some good old-fashioned hate mail, email us at wdijwpodcast@gmail.com. I'm on Twitter at SomeJerkFB, as well as on Tumblr at SomeJerkFromBoston, where you can see all the stupid pictures that I rip off from Reddit and the rest of the internet. Until next time, go on, roofie Santa's cookies and milk. I mean, no one's gonna come looking for him since they all believe he's a fictional character. Adios for now.